Week 9 recap. My entire team's injured. If I turn on a game, my players get hurt within 2 minutes. It's one of those seasons. We're still 5-4, winning record. I tell my guys every day, we're not giving up. I mean, you're dealt a bad hand, you still play it. Well, you could fold it technically, but that was a horrible analogy. Okay, anyway, we are back, and we are going to do this in 10 minutes because I'm going to get kicked out of this room. But the Banditos is where it starts because I was very adamant that the Banditos is a contender. I don't care that they were 3-5. I said last week, my most recent prediction is Banditos chairman both 3-5. I guarantee Banditos outplays the chairman rest of the season. Not only that, I guarantee Banditos makes a run at the playoffs. Not only that, I guarantee Banditos could potentially make the semifinals. My prediction is that they get third place. And people said I lost it. They said, Rick, you're on point 99% of the time. You're one of the smartest guys I know. You're also surprisingly good looking, which is never discussed. No one ever talks about that. It's not convenient to discuss that. But, what was I saying? Something about the Banditos being good. So they had a great week. 160, I think it was the second highest of the week. Behind just the most well-balanced team you could imagine. The storyline here for them was T. Higgins, because T. Higgins was the biggest question mark coming into this week. When you look at the roster, who are they fielding? All guys with big names. All guys that you have faith in performing, and all guys that at some point this season have shown a spark. The only guy that really didn't show a spark outside of one game, and yes, I know T. Higgins' stat line from every single game because he's on my roster, was T. Higgins, and T. Higgins gets a fantastic stat line. 8 catches, 110 yards, 22 points without even getting in the end zone. You gotta love it. Oh, you gotta love it. Oh, you gotta love it. Whoever knows, if there's any Drake fans, please let me know if you know that song. But Sons of Chaos was on the flip side of that because Sons of Chaos had a good week. I mean, we did kind of done chain them, and they did lose, and we did say they're not going to make the playoffs, and we do want all of our predictions to come true. So I'm not mad that Sons of Chaos lost. But ultimately, I mean, you have the names. I mean, you have some of the biggest names in football on your roster, but especially with Tony Pollard just not giving you RB1 numbers. Your investment in this team with Eckler Pollard was in that running back group expecting 2 RB1s, and you're just not getting that from Pollard right now, which is disappointing, but it is a make or break on this team. I mean, if you have a big RB1 week, this is a team that makes an upset win here. So very disappointing loss for Sons of Chaos. Adds to a disappointing season. I doubt they're watching it. They're probably very sad. Also sad is Paco Libre, but Paco Libre could afford it. They go from 6-2 to 6-3 behind just really poor performances. The wide receiver group disgusting. Romeo Doubs, Boyd, and DJ Moore. That's the weakest wide receiver group in the league. Again, we've talked about this. McCaffrey was on bye. So you expect an off week, but there's just not enough power here with Paco Libre to be overly excited about, especially as a 6-3 team. I say there are teams with worse records that I would be more optimistic about. Again, this is a team that I've been low on all season. 6-3 record makes me look a little silly, but I did say I do not see them winning the title, and I'm going to just continue with that until the end of the season. Untouchables gets the win. Untouchables goes to 6-3. Obviously a big win, especially against a very, very strong opponent. Typically, this is a team that we said we believe will make the playoffs, and you kind of see why here. Again, I mean, 136 is a good week. A lot of your points came from the defense with 29 points, but Cleveland D is pretty good. But, I mean, you see what you need to see. Mostert continuing to be relevant, which is really good news for you. I thought he would fall off a little bit. He kind of is-ish, but with only like 12 touches. But at the same time, 16 points, fantastic. You get away with the off Tyreek week. Hollywood Brown's going to be getting Kyler back. I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic. For this team, you also are going to get Fields potentially back. So Derek Carr probably not going to need to play over Goff and Fields despite a pretty good week this week. I think Untouchables has a good amount to look forward to. El Professor, 117 points, win over Team El Captain. Again, El Captain got a done chain last week at 3-5, a little bit ballsy, but hey, we have 3 of them for a reason. El Captain goes to 3-6, and really, I mean, you feel Justice Hill and Zach Moss at the running back position. What are you really going to expect? You also get Gabe Davis getting you 0 points. You played Nico Collins, Rasheed Rice. This was the worst roster put out for this week. And yes, this was with Dameon Pierce out. And yes, this was with Kittle on a bye. But no, there's not a lot of other help there. And that's why we done chained him. Really a helpless team here with El Captain, and a sad way to see a team like that go. And we wanted El Professor to get the win because we talked about El Professor owning El Captain getting CD for Ford. And what happened here? He didn't even play Ford. Ford gets him 12 points, which he probably should have played him. CD Lamb 30 points. That's the difference. That's the difference. Flip that trade. Guess who wins? El Captain wins. Threw his season away, but it goes to El Professor that season, and I believe that El Professor is going to continue to do the prediction I said. They started 0-3. I said they're going to have a winning record rest of the season. What have they done? 5-1. That's actually crazy. Wow. Good job, El Professor. Good job, Rick. Not even going to have to analyze the team. They're going to keep going, and that's that. We have a few minutes left. All right, Team the Crucifier demolishes Pain Train, and it's not Pain Train's fault. I mean, Pain Train we've also spoken about a bit. It's a team I'm lower on. I said I think they're going to finish under 500. It looked like an awful prediction. It's starting to look possible as they go to 5-4. But I'm not going to shit on this team. I mean, it's definitely a decent team. Team the Crucifier, very, very surprising. This was my worst call. I've been saying a lot that I've been right. I'm not right here. I mean, a lot of this was CJ Stroud getting 57.3 points, but that's just a really great start. Well, I'm getting a lot of work pings. I'm just really should be working right now. It's really that simple. It's not a roster that I'm thrilled about still. I mean, at 7-2, but this is without Monty, this is without ETN, this is without Debo, this is without Amon-Ra, this is without Evan Ingram. Literally an entire team bench, and Crucifier still gets 200 points. So it's not a team that I'm thrilled about as far as this is the best team in the league, but it's obviously one of the top teams, and it's obviously managing itself really well. Crucifier probably the best managed team at this point. I'm writing that down. Crucifier, best managed team. I still think falls short. That's my prediction, but there's no reason for me to say it because he's absolutely crushing it. Great management. The final game, El Grenas keeping his season alive, going to 4-5 with 121 points, putting the chairman down to 102. Again, the chairman team that I said is going to, I believe, miss the playoffs. This was a very important matchup between 2, 3, and 5 teams, and you fall there. It was a tough week. I mean, Tua doesn't give you that much, and the wide receivers give you very little. Pickens, 0.9. Terry, 11.3. Shaheed, 5.96 points. Just not really much. Also, your Dallas defense that has bailed you out many times, only 5 points. Just a team that I think is just going to fall short. El Grenas didn't wow me necessarily, but got help from a much-needed performer in Rashad Stevenson, getting you 24.9 points. And then you also get the Chargers against my Jets. I was at the game, baby. Brutal. But Chargers D gets you 31 points, which obviously helps with the win. El Grenas gets a win to go to 4-5. Again, a team with El Grenas coming into the season I was pretty high on. A team in the chairman that I am very low on. Fortunately going that way. So, a good week. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap. We got under 10 minutes. This is the quickest one we've ever done. And I'll see you next week.